All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Miss Becky, and I work at the Museum of Discovery and Science. Our show today is sponsored by PNC Bank and the A.D. Henderson Foundation. And today's topic is going to be weather as we enter into June and kind of weather month. So if you're ready to get started, we're going to sing a song to get started that has some signs to it. If you've been here before, you might know it. If not, I'll review. This one here is more, the sign for more. This one here is the sign for together. This is the sign for happy and the sign for friend. Are we ready to sing? The more we get together, 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 the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friend is my friend and my friend is your friend. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Thank you. All right, I have a fun song today. If you know I'm a Little Teapot, it's very similar, but we are going to sing about a cloud today. And I'll sing it 2 times through. All right, are we ready? I'm a little cloud up in the sky. You can find me way up high. Sometimes I'm puffy, some stretched out. Tip me over and rain comes out. All right, one more time. You ready? I'm a little cloud up in the sky. You can find me way up high. Sometimes I'm puffy, some stretched out. Tip me over and rain comes out. All right. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. Clap your hands and stomp your feet. Make your hands all nice and neat. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. All right. Well, today's story comes all the way from Africa in a country called Kenya. And these are a story about some native people who live on Kapiti Plain. And this one here is a story that was told by children to a man who came to that country. And they taught him all kinds of fun things. So the book is called Bringing the Rain to Kapiti Plain, retold by Verna Artemel. This is the great Kapiti Plain, all fresh and green from the African rains. A sea of grass for the ground birds to nest in, and patches of shade for wild creatures to rest in, with Assia trees for giraffes to browse on, and grass for the herdsmen to pasture their cows on. But one year the rains were so very belated that all the big wild creatures migrated. The Kaipat helped to end the terrible drought, and this story tells how it all came about. This is the cloud, all heavy with rain, that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. This is the grass, all brown and dead, that needed the rain from the clouds overhead. The big black cloud, all heavy with rain, that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. These are the cows, all hungry and dry, who mooed for the rain to fall from the sky, to green up the grass, all brown and dead, that needed the rain from the cloud overhead. The big black cloud, all heavy with rain, that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. This is Kaipat, who watched his herd as he stood on one leg like the big stork bird. Kaipat, whose cows were so hungry and dry, they mooed for the rain to fall from the sky, to green up the grass, all brown and dead, that needed the rain from the cloud overhead. The big black cloud, all heavy with rain, that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. This is the eagle who dropped a feather that helped to change the weather. It fell near Kai Pat, who watched his herd as he stood on one leg, like the big stork bird. Kai Pat, whose cows were so hungry and dry, they mooed for the rain to fall from the sky, to green up the grass, all brown and dead, that needed the rain from the cloud overhead. The big black cloud, all heavy with rain, that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. This is the arrow Kai Pat put together with a slender stick and an eagle feather, from the eagle who happened to drop a feather that helped to change the weather. It fell near Kai Pat, who watched his herd as he stood on one leg like the big stork bird. Kai Pat, whose cows were so hungry and dry, they mooed for the rain to fall from the sky, to green up the grass, all brown and dead, that needed the rain from the cloud overhead. The big black cloud, all heavy with rain, that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. This is the bow, so long and strong, and strung with a string, a leather thong. A bow for the arrow Kai Pat put together with a slender stick and an eagle feather, from the eagle who happened to drop a feather that helped to change the weather. It fell near Kai Pat, who watched his herd as he stood on one leg like this big stork bird. Kai Pat, whose cows were so hungry and dry, they mooed for the rain to fall from the sky, to green up the grass, all brown and dead, that needed the rain from the cloud overhead. The big black cloud, all heavy with rain, that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. This was the shot that pierced the cloud and loosened the rain with thunder loud. A shot from the bow, so long and strong, and strung with a string, a leather thong. A bow for the arrow Kai Pat put together with a slender stick and an eagle feather, from the eagle who happened to drop a feather that helped to change the weather. It fell near Kai Pat, who watched his herd as he stood on one leg like the big stork bird. Kai Pat, whose cows were so hungry and dry, they mooed for the rain to fall from the sky, to green up the grass, all brown and dead, that needed the rain from the cloud overhead. The big black cloud, all heavy with rain, that shadowed the ground on Kapiti Plain. So the grass grew green and the cattle fat, and Kai Pat got a wife and a little Kai Pat, who tends the cows now and shoots down the rain with black cloud shadow, Kapiti Plain. End. All right, so what was your favorite part of the story?
One leg.
Oh, the one leg. And the bow.
What's your favorite?
All right, well, thank you. All right, today we have some special animals at the museum who love the rain. So let's go live to the Museum of Discovery and Science and see some of the animals they have for us. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning, guys.
All right, so what kind of animal do you have today?
So today behind us in our exhibit, we have two of our southern leopard frogs.
Oh, why? And how do they like the weather?
So these guys like the weather a lot because these guys always have to stay moist. So they always have to be near a large body of water or something like that. And the rain would kind of allow them to kind of move around a little bit if it's raining or anything like that.
So I know that those are called amphibians. So how come they are called amphibians? What about their life?
Yeah, so amphibians basically, almost basically all of them, they'll have to go through a life cycle normally. So the eggs are normally laid in the water. And then once they are laid, they're normally in kind of a little pupal stage. So normally for frogs, we'll get tadpoles. And as they grow up, they'll normally change. So their body will change somehow to get those adult features normally.
Great. And what do your frogs like to eat?
So our frogs love a lot of bugs, a lot of earthworms, things like that. And during the rain and such as things like that, they'll come up out of the ground and things like that so they can eat more.
Okay. And are they called leopard because of their spots?
Yes, so you can see there's a better picture right here in front of our exhibit. They have a lot of spots on them, so that's why they're called the leopard gecko.
Oh. Well, thank you so much, Jake and your camera person, Tara, for showing us all of your animals this time for story time. We really appreciate seeing all the animals that we have at Mods.
Yes, thank you very much for having us, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you. Bye. All right, bye. Oh, I sure do love seeing the animals. So now we're going to see a little video about how to get dressed for different kinds of weather. So I thought it might be fun for me to show you how I get prepared to go out in different kinds of weather.
Our first kind of weather is rain. I'm going to put on some rubber boots to keep my feet dry as I jump in some puddles. Now I'm putting on a rain jacket to keep me from getting all wet. I'm going to zip it up so my shirt stays dry. And finally, I'm going to have an umbrella that I put over my head. Next is going to be a sunny day. First stop are some sandals to keep my feet breathing. Next, I'm going to have some sunblock so my skin doesn't get burned. It's a thin layer of lotion to keep me safe in the sun. Next, I'm going to put on a hat to keep my nose and cheeks shaded, and some sunglasses to protect my eyes. Finally, I'm going into the snow, some ice. So I'm going to put on some boots. Now these boots will help me keep my feet from slipping because ice can be slippery. It will also keep my feet warm in the snow so that I don't get cold. And there I am tying it up tight. All right, now I'm gonna put on a warm jacket and zip it up tight to keep all my body heat inside. And I'm cozy. Lastly, I'm going to put on a hat to keep my head warm out in the cold. How do you like to get dressed? Do you see a rainbow? I think we should head back inside.
All right. So what are some of your favorite things to get dressed for the weather with?
I want to snail. I saw you make fun.
Oh, okay. What else?
Gloves.
Gloves, yeah. All right. Okay, so now we're going to sing a couple more songs. The first one you might know. It involves your hands, and it's the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Are you ready? The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Up came the sun and dried up all the rain. So the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. All right, and then I have a silly song that I used to sing when I was little, okay? So this one here involves you kind of having to yell a little bit, so we'll see. If all the raindrops were gumdrops and lemon drops, oh, what a rain it would be. I'd stand outside with my mouth open wide. Ah, 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 ah. If all the raindrops were gumdrops and lemon drops, what a rain it would be. If all the snowflakes were Hershey bars and milkshakes, oh, what a snow it would be. I'd stand outside with my mouth open wide. Ah, 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 ah. If all the snowflakes were Hershey bars and milkshakes, oh, what a snow it would be. If all the sunbeams were ice cream and lemon dreams, whoa, what a sun it would be. I'd stand outside with my mouth open wide. Ah, 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 ah. If all the snow were bubble gum and ice cream, oh, what a sun it would be. If all the sleet were liver and kidney meat, ew, what a sleet it would be. I'd stay inside with my mouth closed up tight. If all the sleep were liver and kidney meat, ew, what a sleep it would be. Whew. All right, I have one more story for you today, and that one is over here on the felt board. So here's the camera, and all right. This one is called The Wind Blew by Pat Hutchinson. The wind blew. It took umbrella from Mr. White and quickly turned it inside out. It took balloon from little Priscilla and swept it up to join umbrella. And not content, it took a hat, and still not content with that, it whipped a kite into the air and kept it spinning round up there. It plucked a shirt and left out to dry and tossed it up into the sky. It grabbed a hanky from a nose, and up and up and up it rose. It lifted a wig from the judge's head and didn't drop it back. Instead, it whirled the postman's letters up, and if it hadn't had enough, it blew so hard it quickly stole a striped flag fluttering on a pole. It pulled the scarf from a twin and tossed it to the other things. It sent the newspaper fluttering around, then tired of things, it mixed them up and dropped them down. And the wind blew away to sea. The end. All right. And I have one fun science experiment here. And this is going to be like a tornado in the bottom. So a tornado is a bunch of wind that spins. So what I'm going to do is turn this upside down. Shake, 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 shake. And now we're shaking. You can see a tornado in the bottle. So it spins round and round. All right. So this week's Mod's challenge is for you to kind of figure out what the weather is each day. On our website, there's a paper plate model like I have that you can make. So today, I've marked it as stormy. There's a cloud and some lightning. But you could have snow if you live somewhere cold. You could have a rainbow. It could be cloudy. It could be windy. It could be sunny, or it could be like sprinkling for the rain. So you could go every day to your window and look outside and have the weather predicted. And if you would like your grown-up to go to #ModsChallenge and show me your weather predictor for the day, I'd love to see it. This is our last week of story time. We've had fun while the school was in session. We're going to take a little break for the summer, and we invite you as soon as the museum opens up to come back to visit us at the Museum of Discovery and Science. We have all kinds of things waiting for you, and it'd be nice to see the animals in person and some of the things that we've seen there. So if you're ready, it's time for our final goodbye song. We wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye like this. We clap our hands for all our friends. We wave goodbye like this. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining me this morning.